Alright, so I think I might have removed the clog spot on my water main in my house. Things started to get kind of sketchy, well, almost 2 years ago after a water main replacement in the town, and I was really worried that there's like 100 plus feet of line from the water main at the street to my house, that there was a clog somewhere in there. Now, December of 22, which is a year and a half ago, I had a new water heater put in over here, and the plumbers were saying they thought the problem was between the meter and that shutoff valve there. And I was kind of skeptical, and I kept wondering, does the water meter have like an inlet screen on it? And that got clogged up with crap from when the lines were taken apart over at the street. So finally, because the water flow has gotten so bad that it takes forever for the toilet to fill. You can barely take a tepid shower. Yeah, it's gotten bad. I thought, well, okay, I got a day here. Let's take it apart and see if there is a screen in the water meter. So I took this business apart here, and it turns out there is no screen. The guy, when I talked to the city man, he was right. Where's my rag? There. At any rate, there's water here. Interestingly enough, I thought there'd be like some kind of paddle wheel device in there, but there isn't. There's just like just a plastic channel. So somehow this device can determine the water flow without any moving parts. So I'm intrigued, and I'm gonna go look that up later. What is this thing called? A census? A census. And then what is the part number, if you can read that? I'm gonna go look that up later. At any rate, so then there's this ugly glob of pipe here. That's the one that the plumbers were suspicious of. So I took it off and took it outside and took a look at it. And darned if they were right. I knew that something was wrong when I took it off, because I really, water didn't drain through it. You know, when you take the bottom end off here, and then have the faucet open upstairs, turn this valve off, or on, off, whatever, then all the water in the house is gonna, drain back through and out. And that did not happen. It was like not much coming out of there. So I took it outside, and the blockage was right in this old cast iron union here. And for a while I was wondering, is that like a union that had a screen in it or something? Never heard of such a thing. I got to work at it with picks and screwdrivers and a wire, and then like an old worn out file, and more screwdrivers, going to bigger ones, that eventually, because you couldn't see through it, eventually I was able to open up a hole, I don't know, maybe half an inch or something in it. This, I think I'm gonna replace this stupid ugly pipe. It's just garbage anyway, and because it's got that sharp bend in there and stuff. I don't know if I trust that old rusty union anyway. I briefly entertained the idea of trying to take it apart, and I'm like, no, that ain't, you're asking for trouble doing that. So yeah, anyhow, I took, cleaned it out as best I can, blew it up, put it back together, got everything, the water's turned back on. Let's see, it's not wet, so that's not leaking. Is that damp? It's kind of, this is an old nasty damp root cellar kind of place. This house was built in 1918, so it don't have a basement, it's just an old cellar. And then this valve, it's actually a gate valve, so it never completely seals off. It doesn't seem to be squirting. Yeah, I had this this piece of hose here with wire on. I used for something, I can't remember what, on a car repair years ago, and it's got, I put the wires in the tape, that way you can bend it and it'll hold a shape. So that worked well to put on the end of here, and then direct it into this old piece of busted up gutter so that stuff would go over to the sump there, because the floor in here isn't graded to drain in there very well. And even then I got water all over down here. So I'm gonna go and we'll repeat that pressure drop test I did last summer, a while back. See if it's any better this time. I already have this gauge hooked back on the garden hose outside the kitchen window. So if you saw the other video a long time ago, what I did is turn the garden hose on, look at the pressure, and then reach in the window here and then turn on the kitchen sink and see whether the pressure was going to drop or not. So before, it would get to about 55 psi, and then if you turn the sink on, it dropped down to around 20, which is pretty bad. So let me reach down here. We'll turn this on, and it's rising. Is it rising still? I think so. Not much though. Maybe there's some air in the setup yet. I ran the water through this hose a little bit ago though. Well, that's not particularly awesome, is it? Water pressure here. Thought it was higher than that before, but any rate, maybe there's other problems. So let me, how do I hold this in place so we can watch it? I guess not. Let me set that there. And we're going to reach in here and turn the kitchen sink on. And what's happening with the pressure? Might have dropped a little bit. It's not dropping rapidly like it was before I cleaned out that pipe. It is squeaking down a little bit. One thing I probably should do, there was a lot of stuff stirred up that I saw swirling in the whole house water filter after I turned the water back on. So maybe what I should do before judging the effectiveness of all this is put a new filter in there after I've run the water. So it went down to about 35 pounds from 40, it looks like. Let's turn the water back off here. And it bumps back up to 40. Even so, when there's no water flowing, that should be higher than that. So maybe the city pressure is low today. It's not even quite 40 right now. Alright, I'm going to go turn the other taps on to purge any air out of that stuff. And then I'll change the filter, but then it'll probably burp again anyway. Alright, change this filter out. Certainly I've seen these more clogged up with lime deposits before. It's got some particles on it I think were from that union after I tried to dig out the rust there. I mean, I blew it out with an air compressor, but that doesn't get all of it. Yeah. Anyway, let's go. Let's see the pressure drop if it changed here. So water's back on. Purge some air out. Here we are again with 40 psi. Reaching in the window. Turn on the faucet, kitchen sink, and I do not see the pressure dropping. It was dropping like about 5 psi before I changed out this filter. Although I see it sinking a little bit now. But, I mean, compared to going down to 20 pounds, and I think it was probably worse than that. I should have took some readings before I took that piping apart earlier. Because I got a suspicion it was even worse than that. But on the other hand, the initial pressure I thought was over 50 psi last year. I think it was last year. And now it's only 40. So that's coming from the water main in the town. So I should ask them about that. Why would that be? I guess the proof in the pudding will be how how long does it take the toilet tank to fill, and can I actually get a, you know, somewhat of a shower here that, you know, I like a good hard driving shower, a hot one too. And I haven't, don't get those, they're hot but not driving. Alright, that might be the end of this video unless I think of something else about this.